All right, welcome to Burn the Ship. I appreciate it very much you being here. This is the podcast where we connect entrepreneurs with professionals that can help you go all in on your business. So a lot of the people that are listening have that itch to be an entrepreneur. They are trying to figure out one, two, three ABCs to go through to begin that entrepreneurial journey towards a successful business. We are very fortunate at Burn the Ship to provide a platform of professionals that help us learn from that story and help us learn from their experiences and the skills that they'll need to run a successful business. So I appreciate you coming. I want to say that again. Anybody that sets the time to share their expertise with our audience, we are very grateful for. So thank you for that very much. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your company?
Certainly, Billy. Thank you so much. I'm Andy Robbins. I own part of A&K Painting Company and Albright Coatings out of Surfside Beach here in South Carolina. I'm from a small town in South Carolina called Rock Hill. It's right on the border of Charlotte, North Carolina. Grew up there. Me and I have two siblings, a younger sister and a younger brother. My brother is currently my partner with A&K. He has been now for come November be 14 years.
Wow.
But I growing up in the small town, my dad was a paint contractor.
Right.
And actually worked as a painter for a company for quite a number of years before striking out on his own. And watching him as a young child growing up in that environment, I didn't want any part of that. I was like, holy cow, dad's on call 24/7. He's dealing with these problems. He's got all this stuff going on. So I really wanted to be a football coach. That was my passion and my dream. And I like working with people, especially young people. I like motivating them and encouraging them. And I just kind of had a knack for that. And I played football, of course, growing up, and I ended up walking on at University of South Carolina back in the 80s. Played there with Coach Morrison and Todd Ellis and Sterling Sharp and a host of others that went on and did great things in the NFL and throughout their lives. They continue to do
That's
really
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 cool.
great things. So it was a heck of an experience to be a walk on. There to school and to get asked for an autograph or to run out to 60, 70,000 people on ESPN was a dream come true for me. And I was going to be a PE teacher. That was sort of the career path I was on. Little did I know PE is pre-med. Uh,
Yeah.
and I am not the shortest tool in the shed.
A
I I struggled.
lot of biology, a
I
lot of chemistry.
struggled. They're using these uh, 12-letter words
Yep.
and just man, I just struggled, and so I got out of that, and I got into what was called an interdisciplinary studies program, and got into business. And I met a gentleman there, one of my professors, Barney Altman, was fantastic, and he inspired me. He really did to want to be a business owner and whatnot. So that kind of got instilled in me a little bit there. I left school. I came back and I started working at the high school as an in-school suspension teacher. And
Mm.
that was interesting days and whatnot. But so I'm going through um, phases in my life of trying to still pursue that um, um, career in coaching and being that head football coach at some place at some point. And it just for whatever reason it just never happened. So when in 1993 I ended up getting married to my college sweetheart, Katie Moore, out of Clover, South Carolina. We married in May of '93. I'm at this point, I am actually working at a fitness center, a
Mm,
brand new fitness center. It's called Fit as a Fiddle, of all
mm,
things. And I am barely making it. I'm making like $16,000 a year. I'm working, 12, 14-hour days. It's just insane. And it was just really not what I wanted to be. And so it was in October, and one evening I'm on the driveway with my father, and I said, "Look," I said, you sent me to school, and paid all this money for college and whatnot. Let me help you. Let's team up and let me be the new face or the new blood in this company." And he was very adamant of no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to mix family and business together. I cherish our relationship, and I don't want to jeopardize that or ruin that over business. But this
right.
is what I will do. I will make a phone call to a residential builder that he used to work with, and I'll let you borrow your van until you make enough money to pay me back. I said, okay. I said, well, the next thing, Dad, is how do you bid this stuff? I don't even know
Mm,
how to price it. I didn't have a clue about running a business. The closest thing I had come to that was, of course, being a manager at the fitness club. But I wasn't, handling payroll and finance
mm-hmm.
and all the ins and outs of running a business and hiring people and putting things together, processes and policies and procedures. And uh, he told me, you price it at this amount, and you do these few things, and I'm here for you as you go along. And he was. He was there for me. He helped me out. I ended up painting those two houses. I continued to work at the fitness center for several more months, and I would leave mid morning or so, take about 4 or 5 hours off, and go paint houses, and then come back and close the
Mm,
fitness center down and get back up. And I did that for about 3 months. And then in January of '94, I said, I'm going to do this on my own. I'm gonna strike out and make this happen. And I did. I started hiring people and developing crews and developing relationships. It was nice being in that small town that I had a good relationship with people that lived there and cared about the community, that were building houses and developments and whatnot. And some, if not all, of course, knew my dad, and that also carried some weight because Dad had a great reputation there in town as a great businessman and somebody that really cared about the community. He was always, him and Mom both were always involved in school functions and raising money and doing things. And so I was able to get in and meet the owners and sit down with them and negotiate pricing, and get jobs, get more builders, things of that nature. After a year and a half of being in business, I'm on my way. I'm actually volunteering at this point at the high school where I went to high school, Rock Hill High, there in Rock Hill, and I passed a massive building being put up, and stopped in and met the gentleman there and negotiated that deal. It was 450,000 square foot West Marine Distribution Center there
wow.
in Rock Hill. So I had to negotiate that deal with him, and I just spent a lot of time. I had a digress here for just a second, but I spent a lot of time with a builder, Alex Hayfley. Um, he came to Rock Hill from up north. I think it was New Jersey is where his hometown was, and started developing housing communities. and just one of the smartest people you'll ever meet. Just really smart guy, really sharp. I would sit down on Fridays, almost every Friday. He would take an hour or so out of his time, and we would talk business. And I learned so much from that man. And Jerry Knight was another one. Really sharp guy, invested in all kinds of different industries and what have you. And these guys, for whatever reason, didn't mind taking time out of their busy schedule to mentor me, and it helped me tremendously. And of course, going into these things and not knowing, um, trying to get things laid out in a perfect way, you got to have a plan. And I learned that pretty early on, and I think that comes from my coaching. That you can't go into a ball game on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, and not have a plan. So I started developing processes, policies, procedures, processes, because when we made a mistake, it came out of my back pocket, and
Right.
I didn't have a lot to give. So we had to minimize that, and we had to be very efficient. So I said, I imagine everything sort of what we used to call about build a burger, the
Mm.
McDonald philosophy.
Right.
We're gonna do everything the same way every day, and this is how it's gonna be. We're gonna set the vans up in a certain manner that the caulking guns are gonna be here, the drop claws are gonna be behind the seats, and every van was set up in the same place. And people say, well, why are you doing that? I said, because when I have a person on a crew that's on a different van, a different crew on a day, they know exactly where to go to find that piece of equipment.
Right.
It's about being efficient, and people don't realize so often that these small things um, take up a lot of time and money over the course of a year. And
Mm-hmm.
when you're in a small business and every penny matters, you can ill afford to be inefficient. Even today at A&K, for the last, oh geez, probably 18 years, we've had a store inside our building that stores all of the paintbrushes, rolling apps, all of our supplies, all of our sundries, things like that are there. And our foremen that are in charge of the projects meet with our warehouse manager in the mornings, and they fill out a form and they're handed what they need to get that job done. So that way, my guys and gals are not at the paint store uh,
Right.
running up and down the road. So we try to be real efficient in what we do and how we go about things. We of course we have all the paint either delivered to the job or to the shop. We want to make sure that again our guys are, when they hit the job, they're ready to go to work, and
Right.
that means a lot to our clients. Our clients see that, they appreciate that. There's not a lot of wasted time, not a lot of finger pointing, things of that nature. And we get out there and we get it done. We come with a plan. About 15 years ago, well, not quite that long ago, about 10 years ago, Kevin created, with the help of Nexcom out of Charlotte, North Carolina, a job management system that all of our foremen had iPads,
Mm-hmm.
and they had the plans were color coded. They had a scope of work, schedule values, all this you name it, safety information, weather, how many people were on the job. All of this information was on this iPad, again, to make us efficient and to make us, a lot better than our competition. Our competition still coloring plans the old way, and that's just you got to keep up with the times, and you got to be a leader, and that's what we feel like that we are. A leader in this industry, in this paint industry. That we try to take uh, the bull by the horns and lead and make sure that we are on top of technology and paint products, and we're educating and training our people. Um, and that's what, that's what business to me, or for me, being in business and doing the things that we do is so much about people and enjoying being around good people. That is what really gets me up in the morning. Is being around a staff that we have that is so dedicated. We've got about 22 people in the A&K office there in Charlotte now, and there's three of them right now have been there almost 20 years. They're right at 19 years now, and we've got 12 more that's been there for more than 10 years. So we've got a lot of loyalty, dedicated employees, and they work hard. Um, Michael is my VP of operations. I hired him from a competitor, like I said, almost 19 years ago, and boy, he is a workhorse. Gosh, he is something else. He inspires me every day. He gets out there and he's at the shop at 5, and he doesn't leave till 4 or 5 in the evenings. And he's got 5 superintendents, and we've got about 150 people that work for us out in the field. So he's all over the place, all over North and South Carolina every day, driving this massive machine and making sure things get done and done right. Because no matter what you do, as far as technology and the training and all the other things that you can do in the office and whatnot, if you don't deliver the right product, it's not going to matter.
Right.
You gotta deliver that product, and you gotta deliver it every day. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
there's not days off. Sure, you're going to have a bad day, but you've got to minimize those things to be able to stay in business over a long period of time. And we are we are so relationship driven because when I like I said, when I started a company, and the kind of person I am, I'm a people person. I enjoy being around people, so we want to cultivate and develop business relationships and have something more than just a business. We want to be friends. I
Mm-hmm.
want to know your spouse, your kids. I want to know how they're doing. I want to know how you're doing. Let's go drink a beer after work occasionally. Go play some golf. We go duck hunting. We do all kind of things with our clients and stuff, and we just have fun. Construction is not a glamorous industry, and painting dang sure is not. Um, but um, but we make it fun. We make it as fun as possible, and we were very personable, and we care about people. We care about our clients, and when things happen, and they're going to happen, that's just the nature of the beast, especially in construction. Things are going to happen, and what I've always told our clients is that you want me in that foxhole with you when things go bad, because I'm not going to run. I
Right.
got you back. I'm here
Right.
for you. I'm solid as solid can be. Uh, we're going to put our heads together, and we're going to come up with some type of solution to fix this problem, and we're going to work on it together. And I'm not going to finger point. I'm not going to blame and all that stuff. Hey, that's that's wasted energy, wasted time. Hey, let's roll our sleeves up. Let's figure this thing out. We're both in this thing together. And that's the kind of people we work with, and it works very well. It works very
Yeah.
well. I've had some contractors in the past and some people that I've worked with uh, that want to be bullies and kind of thumb their nose up at a paint contractor. You're not, you're just an old paint contractor,
Hmm.
old redneck, which I
You're
am.
just redefining what that means, though.
I'm sorry.
You know what I mean? You guys are redefining. To me, you guys are redefining what that means because I think everybody has this expectation that I think it needs to and is in the process of changing with anything home improvement related. Like we're in this age of four or five people quoting the same thing and these bidding wars, and especially in Georgia, that we don't even require like a contractor's license specifically for a lot of the stuff that people are rendering services for, is that the less expensive the job may be is most of the time very indicative of the quality that you're going to get of the product. But if I can just kind of recap what you said here for our audience, early on, you set these processes in place that left you highly, highly efficient. Somewhere along the way, you invested in technology that continued to increase the efficiency of your workmanship. And then throughout this whole journey, you've cultivated relationships with people that has continued to help you grow your business while being yourself. And all of that led you from this 30-year process of being a one-man show that didn't know how to bid his own jobs yet to 30 years later, there's 160 people, 170 people in this organization that are running this well-oiled machine, right? So if there's anybody right now, to me, there's an example, or at least an example of the process that it takes to redefine what that means. It's you guys. Like, you didn't live in this box of a paint contractor. You didn't decide I was chucking a truck from Rock Hill, South Carolina. You decided that if I maximize what I can get out of any given moment in my business or any given relationship by giving, because all that efficiency returns itself into savings on behalf of the client. You know what I mean? It allows you to be able to do your job really well, and it costs you less money. And what we were talking about a little bit on the phone yesterday is I think a lot of people lose that vision, right? I think you start out early on as an entrepreneur, and what you have now is what's in your mind, right? And then somewhere along the way, either you get caught up in the day-to-day actions that it takes to render your product, or sales becomes difficult, or you take a loss on a project that your back pocket can't handle. Things very early on make you redefine yourself mentally as this small guy, this small painting contractor. Here's what I have. My opportunity is this big. But you guys have literally had the mindset of scale from day one. You set yourself up in a way where your business had room to grow. It could grow into its body and it could become stable on its own. That is so important for people to realize that are getting into the small business world, that if you set yourself up for success and you talk about your business, right, and you continue to redefine how you do your job, you can be successful and you can be as large as you want. That business can take up as much of your life and your time as you let it. And if you work really hard and you unite yourself with the right people, you can do incredible things. Like I think that that's such a brilliant story to be able to recap for people. There's infinite room. There's so much room to grow. There's so much work to be done that if you can find something that you do well and take an approach of I'm always going to do this well because that's who I am, you can do some incredible things. So I appreciate you sharing your story for us. It's really, really cool. And it kind of seems like your superpower has been that ability to create processes and value the relationships of people. Would you agree? I guess that's what we want to know is like, what is it that you were doing early on that helped you be able to grow? And to me, it seems like setting yourself up to be able to scale and continuing to invest in relationships by being a giver. But maybe you have a different perspective on that.
Well, it just comes from it's really just kind of natural for me with my personality is just wanting to please people, wanting to make people happy, wanted to give that good product, have that friendship with that client, um, be more than just a painter. I want to be more than that. I want to be respected more than hey, he's just some kind of paint guy out here. So we had to put things together to manage that and make that work. And when things didn't go well, I don't handle things very well when they don't go well. I get
Yeah.
upset. I get upset about it. I've let my client down. I've let my employees down. And it's all on me. And that's what I tell people all the time is just, even today with all the layers of management and everything that we've got going on, I I still occasionally get on the phone and will give a client a call and whatnot and tell them, say, look, I'm still here. If you need me, please know that you can reach out to me. We're not so big that, Andy's not accessible anymore.
Right.
I am here for our clients, our employees, to help guide, mentor, and lead, and direct, and make sure this machine continues to run and continues to do well. Um, so it's not easy. It's not easy because what you've got to do is you've got to take everything that you're learning and processing and everything, now get it down on paper.
Right.
You got to put all that down on paper, which is much easier these days than it was back in the 90s. But you got to fill all that stuff out. I have a manual that I hand out to every new employee that they know from A to Z of what's going on when they hit the door at A&K. And we have safety manuals. We have a ton of information now and training guides and things that we do with our employees. But it's been a tough road. It really has. We were in Rock Hill in 2000. Still, we were based out of there and trying to run the operation from Rock Hill, um, and decided that we wanted to go play with the big boys.
Right.
We wanted to go to Division I school here, and so we went up to Charlotte and in 2000 and started competing with Charlotte Paint and Cody's 2000, Muckenberg Paint, and a host of others. They're back in the 90s. Charlotte was a really booming. It's still growing today, but it was really in an infant stages of all these high rises going up, and
Right.
there was a lot of competition and whatnot. And I went from a small town of everyone knowing me, and did things on a handshake. And a lot of times it was, Andy, go do it and send me a price. That's
Mm-hmm.
how well people trusted me and respected me and believed in Andy Robbins and A&K Painting there in Rock Hill. Uh, so I get to Charlotte. Boy, they don't know who I am. They really don't care who I am. They don't know anything about A&K. So I had to be a heck of a salesperson and knock on a lot of doors and get in there and sell myself, because that's all you're doing as a owner. Yeah, you've got a product or service that you're providing, but you're selling yourself. That person wants to do business with someone they like and they trust. And that's our slogan. Our slogan is a relationship you can trust, and that was so important to me. And I think it's just growing up in that small town and having those small town values, and coming from great parents. My mom and dad were the best. Um, but we moved to Charlotte, and things were struggling from out the gate there in that market. We still had our clients back in Rock Hill, and we still were going to be okay, but it was hard. And then 9/11 happened, and then it got real serious. That's when I almost lost everything. We had done very well to that point. Our cost was very minimum. Everything, of course, got um, more expensive as we moved up to Charlotte.
For
Rent got
sure.
more, and just everything got more expensive and whatnot. And 9/11 happened, and a lot of things just started falling by the wayside. Contractors going out of business, people not, of course, doing anything for quite some time. And uh, it got down to where it was my wife, Katie, my brother, and myself. And Kevin's 6.5 years younger than me, so he's only like 22 at this point.
Mm.
But he worked 3 months and didn't even take a check. Uh,
Wow.
Yeah, he was our estimator. He's a sharp guy. He's our president of our company now, and he is really sharp. I went to an organization. It's called a PDCA. It's called the PCA now, but it used to call the uh, Painting Contractors Decorators of America. I think that's what it was. I'm sorry, but nevertheless, it was a great organization. Still is today. And I learned from Bob Cusimano, was an estimator there. He'd give lectures, and he had tapes. So I got the tapes. I gave them to Kevin. I said, "Learn how to estimate," and he did. And he was our first commercial estimator. When I started, I didn't even know how to read print. I'd never uh, seen prints before, drawings and whatnot. So I had a Sherwin Williams rep, Jerry Foster, help me. He encouraged me to get into the commercial world, and said that, Andy, you've got a knack for this, and I think you're doing the right things. These are the things you need to do when you look at a plan and whatnot. And I learned from that. I taught myself basically, and we ended up getting like I said, the West Marine Distribution Center. There was a Thyssen Steel down in Richburg, was over 200,000 square feet. Nations Ford Chemical in Fort Mill was an industrial plant. Did tanks down there, and so we were really growing, and things were going pretty good. And then, like I said, 9/11 happened, and I literally sat in my mentor's office, Alex Hafley's office, on a Friday one time and broke down and said, I'm just sobbing. I think I'm gonna lose everything here, and I don't know what to do. And he offered me some money, uh, uh, but I didn't take it. I said, "No, I'm gonna figure this out somehow." He gave me some words of encouragement and some advice, and the good Lord looked after us, and just for whatever reason, every week, uh, either a new job came in, or the money came in to make sure that the people got paid. And I went and negotiated with my landlord, and with our vendors, and everybody else. And I told them all, I said, if you will work with me, and help me out here, I will be indebted to you, and I will never ever forget it. And it worked out. It worked out. By 2004, we were scaling back up. 2005 was great. And then, come 2008, here's the Great Depression.
Yep. Here we
Um,
are.
and you would have thought, heck, here we go again. But it worked out great for us because we had some great relationships at that point in Charlotte, and Wachovia and Wells Fargo, of course, merged. And one of my clients, Daryl Shipman, a dear friend of mine, great man, um, uh, worked with me, and we did 250 of those banks from Florida to Virginia.
Wow.
Bailey, we did these things at night. We went in, and after five, after everybody left, had to cover up. Now, mind you, Wachovia was huge on wall covering. They're back in the 70s and 80s and whatnot. That was very popular, and Wells Fargo hated it. So all the wall covering had to come off the walls. So we had to tear wall covering off, sand walls, skim walls, prime walls. We had to do this, for a week to 2 weeks at a time, depending on the size of the bank, and have it back in pristine shape for the next morning.
Yeah.
It was opening business up the next morning. And we did that 250 times over the course of about 6 months.
That
And
is crazy.
yeah, and I'll give you one better than that one. We worked with the Noy brothers. Vinoy and Sons. I'm sorry, Vinoy and Sons. They are brothers, the Vinoy brothers. But they had a contract with Bank of America, and we got the contract with them on the Northeast um, Bank of America retail centers, the banks there, and we did exterior, and again, they all had to be done at night. So
Mm-hmm.
we're on the outside of a bank, cutting uh, metal bars off windows,
Yeah.
taking doors out, taking windows out. We're replacing wood. We're doing stucco work. I mean, we're doing all kinds of different stuff. Sandblasting. I mean, these banks are, in the Northeast are
They
built.
go through a lot of weather.
Yeah, they get a lot of weather and they're old,
Yeah.
extremely old. Um, so we did 80 of those.
Wow.
And we did those in Boston, Washington, D.C., Virginia, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina. So it was quite a feat. And to be able to do those kind of projects, you've got to have the right people and the right
Mm-hmm.
processes and things in place. If not, it'll blow up on you. I spent 5 weeks in Florida. My second wife and my stepson thought that we lived at Disneyland there for a while. we, uh, we were in Orlando for about 5 weeks straight there, working on banks and me hiring people and getting crews together and making sure the projects ran smoothly, and then kind of went from there. But it's been a ride, and there have been times about 5 years or so into the business, uh, I um, I thought about getting out and trying to get back into coaching again. And Alex taught me out of it, and my first wife, Katie, which is where the K comes from, um, um, taught me out of it and said that you've got a good thing going, um, and you need to stay with it, and you need to stay the course. And we know how much you love football, and what I ended up doing is just volunteering my time. I got to a point where I could do things in the evenings, and that I could go and coach and whatnot. Uh, but it's been a ride. It's been a ride,
Yeah.
a heck of a
Your
ride. And
resilience is something to admire. I'll tell you that. Your resilience is something to admire because, like I said, uh, even if it doesn't put you out of business, a lot of those big obstacles that you overcame is enough to make you change your vision of who you are and change the vision of your company. For a lot of people feel like they get stuck in that rut and they're caught in that rut. Maybe it's a comfortable rut, like it is. To be able to pick yourself back up and go in a different direction and grow unapologetically is a difficult thing to do after stuff like 9/11 and after the Great Recession, after things like that. I lived through all those things too. My father was in the steel industry during the Great Recession, during 2008. So they built like the Wachovia Stadium, the new Marlins Stadium. Like they
oh
did all the
man,
steel and all the window paneling for all of that stuff. So
oh that's
2008
great.
was tough for us. And it felt like, I didn't see my dad for 12, 14 hours a day. I was getting shuttled back and forth from every practice or every extracurricular that I had, and we were making less money than ever. And their company is another kind of symbol of that to me, is just the resilience that they had to find ways to bid jobs, to not be scared to bid things close to the margin because they trusted their processes and their people. And
Yep.
it's a thing to admire. The resilience is because nobody said, if business was easy, everybody would do it. Everybody would set their own schedule, and everybody'd wake up at 10 o'clock, and everybody'd play golf on Wednesday. And it just don't work like that. There's growing
No,
pains, and there's ebbs and flows, and there's things that come up in your life that really test who you are. And I guess really my point is by saying that is that there's people like me that would put all their money on you. You know what I mean? that I believe that everybody that sets their mind to that has that entrepreneurial bug really has what it takes to be able to run a business successfully. And I think not a lot of people have the support system around them or the training to know the yeses and nos. But I think over anything, like I said, your resilience and your mindset is something to admire, because there's going to be times where it's difficult, no matter how equipped or unequipped you make yourself feel.
Yeah,
Right. So
absolutely.
and it's a beautiful thing. It really
Absolutely.
is the journey that you go through, the opportunities like coaching that you open up for yourself by being able to develop flexibility in your life. It's just a really, really cool thing. So I appreciate you sharing your story from me. And I have been known, here, I got my engineer here. We have been known to be scattered around some of those beautiful golf courses y'all have up there in North Carolina. We were just up there a couple of weeks ago. We played all Sequoia, Maggie Valley.
Okay.
Yeah, we played all of those courses. We went on a little tour ourselves, and there's golf balls of mine everywhere up there. So, but no, it's a good time. I look forward to meeting you one day and shaking your hand, and just getting to
Oh,
see what you
absolutely.
guys are up to for myself, and looking through my own network and seeing if there's, relationships that I can cultivate for you guys that are very beneficial. But I appreciate you telling us your story. And if there's anything that you want to leave the audience with, please feel free. The platform is definitely safe in your hands, but I do appreciate it. I appreciate the time, and I hope somebody gets a little bit of inspiration out here to know that if you set yourself up to scale and you set yourself up for success, and you talk about your business as much as you can, and you stay true to your word with what you tell people, there's room for you to be successful. There's an opportunity for you to be successful, and there's people out there that'll help you along the way, like myself, like this encyclopedia of people that we have interviewed, and all the people that we're going to interview. We love to be givers and cultivate those relationships for people, and it's returned itself 1,000-fold for me. You know what I mean? So, um, if there's anything that I can do for you, please let me know. It's been a wonderful pleasure to meet you, my friend. And please, like I
Same
said, if
here.
you have any closing thoughts, take it over.
Well, if I don't say this, I'm gonna get strung up by my toes. I have twin boys,
Mm,
that Nick and Colby. That we actually started a company in '93 and or '94, and April '95. I've got twin boys, a year and a half company, a new wife. Uh, so to say we had our hands full was an understatement, and working 14, 16-hour days was tough. But the Colby is working at A&K now as a project manager. He just turned 29. His brother has decided he worked for us for a while. Nick did, but he's decided to go do other things. And I cannot be more proud of my sons, and what Colby is accomplishing there at A&K. He has a son now. He's been married. He'll be celebrating his 5th-year anniversary here shortly. And my grandson will be 3 come July. And I am just so proud of their accomplishments and the things that they're doing, and being able to sit back now after 30 years and knowing that, hey, this was worth it. Because I made a promise to Katie when we split ways, that I would make sure that I would take care of them, and that the boys would have a place to land if they wanted it, when they got older, and it's worked out. And I'm very proud of that, and I'm very proud of them and our accomplishments and the things that we've been able to do there at A&K.
well, I'm proud of you, my friend. Truthfully,
Thank you so much.
it's given me something to shoot for. Every little bit of motivation that I get is just fuel to the fire these days. I got two little ones myself. I have a 7-year-old boy. I have a 1-year-old girl. Um,
Congratulations.
Thank you. I have a younger brother. I have a younger sister. We have a lot in common. So
Yeah.
it's been a journey for myself, and those things they kind of redefine what business means for you and where you're going and what that journey is, and what you'll settle for. You know what I mean? So like I said, I think your life is it's an incredible testimony to how far a good heart and a good worth ethic can take you. You know what I mean? So I'm glad to have been able to meet you, my friend. It really is a
Same
pleasure.
here. Same here. I've really enjoyed this, and I can't thank you enough for allowing me this opportunity to share my story. Much
Absolutely.
appreciated.
Well, burn the ships.